In this video, I'm going to talk about respecting your stop loss and targets and tips, tricks and methods for sticking to them. Stay tuned. Hey traders, a very warm welcome to you. Okay, so another question from a viewer subscriber. Appreciated. Thank you very much. Comments in the comment section below as always. Okay, this is a big one and I can talk from this with a little reasonable bit of authority because this is something that, yes, in my early days I had a problem with too. Respecting your stop loss, not sticking to your stop, thinking, oh, you know what, price is coming down to my stop, I'm long, there it is. I will just move it down another 10 ticks. I will just move it down another 10 ticks. Man, it's a bad habit. And if you're doing that, you've got to try and nip it in the bud. So let's talk about how we can nip it in the bud. In reality, when you look at it like that, let's be honest, guys, it's a bit of a foolish thing to be doing. And I can say that with my hands up because I've done it myself. So I'm not offending anybody with this. It's a foolish thing to do because you're not basically, coming back to the thing we've talked about before in other videos, you don't believe your trading plan. You don't believe that what the stop loss you've set out is in your best interests. And you're overruling it in the heat of the battle by either pulling it completely or moving it down because you don't want to take another loss. It's that, I don't want to take another loss. I don't want to take a loss on this one. I thought it's a couple of things. I don't want to take another loss and compound the damage I've done to my account already. I don't want to take a loss because I think this is the best trade ever and I've been waiting for so long, and if I give it a little bit more room, it's going to go my way. These are the kind of things that are running through your mind. If you think about how your mind is working when you're in that trade, and let's use it long as an example, it's coming down and it's close to your stop, you're kind of a little bit more agitated, you're at the front of your seat, you know, you're thinking, oh, you know, and this is the state you need to get out of, by the way. This is the state that, you know, a lot of us find ourselves in early on, or when we're going through a rough patch, fine, but this is the state we need to get ourselves out of. And we're kind of watching, and maybe it just flirts with the stop, it up and down, a little bit up and down, and you think, oh, I just need to give it a little bit more room because it might just ping me out. Until you give it a little bit more room, it comes down a little bit, and then it holds, and you think, oh, I'll give it more room. And you may well, if you've done this, then you're probably nodding, going, yes, you know, I've done this a lot, and with swing traders as well. But really, the root of the problem is if you're concerned about being stopped out, you don't want to do loss. Now, let's look at a really extreme example first and get out of the way. There could be an extreme one-off scenario where you're in so much size that this one trade is so meaningful that you don't want to be stopped out because you don't want to crystallize a heavy loss. That's something completely different. That's a different hole you've dug for yourself. And I don't think that's what we're talking about here. We're talking about a regular, consistent pattern of behavior. But if it is that, then you've got to kind of reset and start again. But let's go back to, let's assume this is a pattern of behavior of moving the stop, not honoring it, what all the other things we just talked about. So obviously the easy one is to set the stop, set your target and walk away from the screen. That's the easiest thing to do. You know, it's the easiest solution. It sounds the most boring, but it is. If you can do that and kind of just start off by saying, okay, I've got my stop loss in. Am I happy with the stop loss? Yes, I am. I've got my target in. Am I happy with the target? Yes, I am. Walk away from the machine. Now, the back of your mind, something will be saying, don't walk away. You might miss something. It's always that one. You might miss something. So you're going to have to address that and say, well, if I walk away, what am I going to miss? What's the worst thing I'm going to miss? Okay, the market I'm in might rip to highs and I could get a chance to pull my limit and I get even more. What are the chances of that? 1 in 300 probably. You get that once every year. And if your limit's there already, you're going to get pinged anyway. So, and also you don't want to be pulling limit orders out anyway. So forget about that. What about something else? There might be another opportunity in another market. Well, yeah, there might be, but you know what? You're trying to address this problem at the moment. So one thing at a time, let's learn to deal with sticking to the stop loss and the target and learn a strategy for that and worry about getting on board other trades at a later date. At the moment, you almost don't have a right, and again, I'm saying this from my perspective, you don't have a right to be looking at other stuff when your initial trades aren't really performing as they should be. So that's a sort of internal dialogue you can have yourself, and you can adjust it to suit your personality, obviously. So walking away from the screen is a good one. If you don't want to do that, you have got to really just exercise the muscle. You've got to, you know, when you have that feeling and the urge to move the stop loss, push your chair away from the desk, push it away and just say, listen, you know what, I've planned this out. let it stop me out, and then I'm going to reevaluate my trading plan. You know, the work needs to be done on the plan side of it, not on the fly in the actual trade. You know, if it's not working, fine. Let it prove it's not working by stopping you out. Hey, I've been stopped out 10 in a row on this type of trade. Rather than fixing it by saying I'll move my stop in the next trade, which is what we all do. We all want to just fix it immediately and go, you need to say, okay, let it stop me out. Let me go back to my plan and say, hey, my stop isn't working. Let me print out the charts again. Let me look through the trades I've done. Why am I being stopped out all the time? It is because my stop is too tight, or it's because I'm taking the wrong thing. Find out the root of the problem and then adjust it and then try it again, as opposed to trying to fix it on the fly. And I know we all do it. We all want to kind of, okay, if we can get the next trade profitable, it'll be fine. But all it does at the end of the day is, number one, it just means that you're lacking discipline. You're kind of cementing that fact that you should be moving stops and moving targets. And number two, it just ruins the data you've got, because you just, you know, you don't have anything to work off. You don't say, well, you know what, those cluster trades were bad. This is why if I adjust the stop on all of them will be good. You end up saying, oh, actually, I don't know, they're good or they're bad. I moved my stop on that one. Did I? Blah, blah. And you don't have the data, so you're in a worse scenario, and you probably end up carrying on the same trading plan and trading strategy because you've got a few winners in there, and you think, well, actually, I'll hold on to that strategy, and then it just becomes a complete mess. So, you know, discipline of sticking to it. Just try different tactics of when it's coming close, stepping back, stepping away from the screen, and just believing that your trading plan is the right thing for you to do for long term. And it's kind of the same with the targets, exactly the same. It's just flipping it on its head. And I know what it's like as well. It's going out to your target. You want to hold, you want to take it off. You want to take it off. You need to wait for your target. You want to move it. You want to grab it straight away. Now, that's not quite as finite as a stop, because you still, obviously, I think you need to ratchet up your exit at some point. But again, it comes down to the plan. If it's done this, should I then bring my stop up? You know, how should I adjust it? And just sticking to that as best you can. Using those little tips and tricks, like away from the screen. If it's coming near to it, step away from the screen. You know, switch your mouse off, pull the thing back. I'm talking from a day trader's perspective. If you're a swing trading perspective, just, you know, check the market. Hasn't stopped me out, close it down again. Check the market, hasn't checked me out, hasn't stopped me out, close it down again. Don't you try to stop yourself at that initial point where you just go, I'm going to move the stop, or I'm going to pull the stop. Anyway, this is a really common problem, guys. I could sit down and talk about it for ages, different tips and different methods, but try those out. Let me know how you get on them in the comment section below. If you like this kind of stuff, give it a thumbs up. If you're first time here, consider subscribing to the channel around here somewhere. I think it is, depending on the device you're watching. Mutual thing, guys, is to keep the risk managed, and unfortunately, if we're kind of moving our stops around or getting rid of them, we're not keeping the risk managed, which is the golden rule of trading. Keep the risk managed, guys. Good trading. See you in the next one. Bye bye.